Hello everyone, my name is Proximal Head, and I hate Spiral Thrust. It's janky, hard to control, and worst of all, it's so goddamn strong. If you want to get into Lance speedrunning, eventually you're going to have to get good at using Spiral Thrust. And even most of the current 3.0 Lance meta builds assume that you're maintaining a very decent uptime with the blue Lance aura that Spiral Thrust provides from countering. But I still hate Spiral Thrust. Now before all you amazing Lance players comment down below that I'm just bad at the Lance, you are right. And you are still welcome to comment that. But the Spiral Thrust mechanics are also pretty bad. Will my thrust go through the monster entirely, or will its body block me? No one knows. Did I mess up that counter because of a lack of guard, or because I'm just bad? Having to just know how much guard is required for each monster's attack is not good game design. Even after hours of practicing with Spiral Thrust, it just wasn't for me. But I wasn't going to stop playing the Lance just because the Spiral Thrust meta didn't suit me. Instead, I decided to go for a focus on fun, non-meta builds, which brings me here today. So hear me out. From a damage perspective, Spiral Thrust is the strongest attack for the Lance. The second and third attacks of Spiral Thrust have higher motion values than any other attacks that the Lance has. So surely a build that uses nothing but our strongest attack would be a strong build, right? Well, kind of. It is still a ton of fun, but how strong it is kind of depends on the monster matchup. On monsters with large or low weak spots like Mizutsune, it's really good. On monsters with small or high weak spots like Anjanath, it is still really fun, but you're probably better off just poking the monster rather than thrusting. For the busy viewers who want to cut to the chase, these are the two builds that I'm currently using. The one on the left is more counter-focused, while the one on the right is simpler but more spammy. If you're not confident in your countering ability, or you don't like that playstyle, go with the simpler build. If you can maintain a decent uptime with the blue Lance aura and offensive guard, go with the counter-focused build. And here is the build that I recommend if you don't have a good talisman. You can pause here if you don't have time to watch the rest of the video. So our goal with this build is to never stop spiral thrusting. In order to do so, we want 3 levels of the skill Wirebug Whisperer. Since most people have probably never used this skill, let me quickly explain its effects. Wirebug Whisperer level 1 extends the duration you can keep a wirebug by 30%. To put that into numbers, the third wirebug normally lasts 90 seconds, but with Wirebug Whisperer level 1, they will last just under 2 minutes. Wirebug Whisperer level 2 also increases wire fall recovery rate. This is useless, however, because everyone watching this video is an amazing player who never gets knocked down. And last, Wirebug Whisperer level 3 also increases the passive recovery rate while on the ground. Since Spiral Thrust takes place on the ground, we are able to use this to our advantage and recover wirebugs as we are thrusting. Unfortunately, Wirebug Whisperer level 3 is a bit disappointing as it only saves us 3 seconds after a Spiral Thrust. But with it and 3 wirebugs, we will be able to keep spamming Spiral Thrusts indefinitely. Or for 2 minutes. If for some reason you only have 2 wirebugs, don't worry. As long as you are using Spiral Thrust as soon as it comes off cooldown, and weaving in other attacks while you wait, you should have no problem dealing decent damage. Unfortunately, as of version 3.0, there are very few sets of armor in the game that come with the skill Wirebug Whisperer. As such, the talisman is our best source of the skill. Hopefully, you will have a talisman that comes with 2 levels of the skill Wirebug Whisperer and a 2nd or 3rd level decoration slot. Now that we have our main skill, the next skill that we want is Weakness Exploit. Luckily for us, the version 3.0 update makes this very easy to get with the Valstrax bracers. We also want 3 levels of Critical Eye to offset the negative affinity of our Lance, and 1 level of Critical Boost to give us some increased critical hit damage. We also like 3 levels of Speed Sharpening to help us keep our downtime as low as possible. Last, both of my builds use some levels of Protective Polish. I personally love the comfort that the skill provides, but it is not necessary. If you want to throw in a skill like Guard Up, the Protective Polish decorations are the easiest to replace. From this point on, our two sets will start to differ. With the counter-heavy set, our main goal is to maintain a decent uptime on our Blue Lance Aura and Offensive Guard. The Blue Lance Aura will give us a 10% damage boost while active, while our 3 levels of Offensive Guard give us a 15% damage boost. Unfortunately, Spiral Thrust is not able to counter many attacks without at least some levels of guard. From what I've read online, 3 levels of guard is considered safe, but some attacks can require up to level 5. With our armor choices, however, we are able to fit 4 levels of guard with ease, without any need for guard decorations. With the simple and spammy set, we trade our 4 levels of guard and 3 levels of offensive guard for 5 levels of attack boost for a constant 6% damage boost. On paper, this is a bad trade, as according to my math, 15 is indeed a larger number than 6. But in reality, not everyone is going to be able to maintain the necessary uptime on the offensive guard buff. If you want to just spam spiral thrusts and not worry about things like blocking and countering, then the 5 levels of attack boost might provide you with more damage. The playstyle for these two builds is very simple. If you have 3 Wirebugs, never stop thrusting. With 3 Wirebugs and 3 levels of Wirebug Whisperer, you will be able to spam spiral thrusts for the entire Wirebug duration. You want to aim for weak spots to take advantage of the weakness exploit and critical boost skills, and ideally end each of your spiral thrusts with a leaping thrust. You can easily follow up each of your leaping thrusts with a guard dash for even more damage. If you only have 2 Wirebugs, you unfortunately won't be able to spam spiral thrust indefinitely. You will have to consider whether or not it'll be worth it to pick up a 3rd Wirebug, and consider how quickly you can get back into the fight. I find that leaving the zone for another Wirebug is typically not worth it. If you are stuck with only 2 Wirebugs though, don't worry. With guard dashes and shield charges, you shouldn't have any issues dealing damage. As I said earlier in this video, this build works best on monsters with low and large weak spots. Monsters like Mizutsune, Rakna Kadaki, and Beetlejuice are good examples. For monsters with high and small hitboxes like Anjanath, Rajang, or flying monsters, you might be better off with a more controlled poking playstyle. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please consider subscribing. On my last video, 99.3% of viewers were not subscribed. Hopefully that'll change with this video. If you have any questions, comments, or complaints, you can comment down below, or reach me directly on my community Discord server. Thanks for watching, and I'll see everyone next time.